Tēnā koutou katoa. Thank you for coming here today to hear an update on where we are on the Tarawera Sewerage Reticulation Scheme. I'd like to firstly thank all the contractors, police and staff for their efforts overnight, as well as mana whenua and the protesters for their cooperation in making sure that last night went ahead without any significant disruption, and we've had no significant injuries that I'm aware of, so I'm pleased to say the work is proceeding as planned. We've also reopened the road early in order to facilitate the residents getting to and from town earlier than they expected. Happy to take any questions from anyone now.
Can we first off begin with how the works have progressed? What happened last night just in terms of the actual work?
So the works progressed last night in terms of mobilising the site and getting it safe for the drilling work to commence, which has started this morning.
How long is it expected to take to be for the road to be fully reopened?
4 weeks.
So over the next 4 weeks there will be traffic management in place, and after the work is complete then the site will be totally demobilised and will be back to normal.
So can we talk a little bit about the protest and the occupation of the land out by the lake? Can you tell me how the council has communicated and consulted with mana whenua?
There's been a long series of consultations going back to 2015. Over that period of time, the most significant working group was established, and that included Tuharangi Tribal Authority, Te Mana o Ngāti Rangitihi, Lake Tarawera ratepayers, local Māori landowners, the Bay of Plenty Regional Council and Rotorua Lakes Council, and together that working group analysed all the options and came up with this as the most feasible option for a range of reasons. So that's been our principal form of consultation. Since then there have been a series of direct communications, and last year when we paused the work, first in January and then in September, we've undertaken much more detailed discussions in order to alleviate any concerns that mana whenua have, but also to address some of the misinformation or lack of correct information that was out there.
Well, mana whenua obviously still have concerns. How is the liaising with mana whenua ongoing?
So mana whenua, I don't want to speak on behalf of mana whenua, but there are diverse views. We're working very closely with all of the iwi. We're working with Tuharangi Tribal Authority, we're working with the Board of Control, and we have implemented a number of specific measures, such as double sleeving the pipe under the stream, and that has alleviated a number of the concerns. I'll acknowledge that not all the concerns are going to be alleviated, but we have worked collaboratively towards a solution that most people are happy with.
What's the resolution here though? Because we've got a group there who are not, they've said they're not leaving. So what's the resolution there?
Look, everyone's entitled to their view, and people have a right to peacefully express their view, and I've never set ourselves an undertaking that everyone's going to agree with this. However, on balance, with broad and deep consultation, looking at all of the options, we've got to remember that ultimately this project's about protecting the environment and protecting Lake Tarawera, both from an environmental point of view and from a cultural point of view. No one disagrees with that. This is the best solution. This was the solution recommended to Council, and on that basis Council have proceeded.
In response to protesters saying that they don't feel listened to through consultation, where they have expressed their views and their concerns, what would you say to that?
I'd say that people are always free to express their view. They've expressed it to you clearly. I've left the door open. I've met with a number of people who opposed this route of the pipe, and I've listened to them. I've considered all the options, but as I say, ultimately the point of this project is to protect the lake. It's widely supported by the community. It's widely supported because of its benefits, not just for this generation but the next generation, and ultimately based on that broad consultation, this was the recommended option, and my job is to execute on that.
Are you comfortable with the police approach of more than 80 officers here last night?
So the police's job has been to support us and to keep people safe. So ultimately, we really want this project to go ahead safely for the protesters, for members of the public, people who are using the road, our staff and contractors as well. So the police have made their operational decisions. I'm really grateful for their support. They've helped us to get this project done quite safely. Again, I'd reiterate that yesterday there weren't any significant injuries that I'm aware of, and the progress has been pretty good. I will also say that cooperation with the protesters has been pretty good. None of the cars were towed. They were all moved voluntarily, either by our staff or by the car owners themselves. So yes, I am relatively pleased with how things have gone last night.
In terms of the injunction, what does this mean for the protesters, and what are the rules in a nutshell?
The core requirement of the injunction is that there is a designated work site where contractors and Rotorua Lakes Council staff can operate safely. Protesters can be present outside that perimeter as long as they don't enter that perimeter. So their own safety, the safety of the workers, the safety of the general public and the general traffic go through is not compromised. The injunction basically says stay out of the work site.
Is there a total cost for delays so far when you consider the legal costs, security costs, everything like that in relation to the protest?
Yeah, so far we're looking at an excess of $2 million. Again, it's a figure that I'm really not happy about. This is a cost that ultimately the public pay, and my job is to make sure the public money is spent wisely. So it is disappointing that we've incurred this cost. We're trying to get this done as quickly as possible so that those costs going forward are minimised.
Have you begun work, and if so, how much has been done?
They work on the remaining piece of pipe. The work started earlier this morning, and we expect the total drilling work to last about 4 weeks. We do try to operate on a 24/7 basis for the section of 400 meters, the pipe that goes under the nearby stream, and we expect that to be finished by this weekend, and then we continue to finish the remaining about 0.8 kilometers of the pipeline and connect the already installed 23 kilometers of pipelines in Tarawera with the city's main treatment plant.
You say that there's been misinformation and disinformation around the scheme. What would you say to protesters if they were to contact you about their concerns?
I'm very happy for staff to have a direct discussion with the protesters. Like I say, I've already had a number of those discussions myself. So if people have concerns about the technical information or about the pipeline, by all means reach out to me and contact me. I'm very happy to continue that discussion.
So as far as I know, the main concern was because it's so close to the lake, and they did say there were lots of alternatives, maybe cost more, but to keep away from that area?
Yeah, so again, happy to talk about that, and thanks for the opportunity to share. Look, there are approximately 20 kilometres of pipeline in this district within 15 metres of the lake, whether it's this lake or another lake. And we've had no incidents of those pipes rupturing and disrupting or disturbing the environment. So this is a highly robust solution. It's a true and tested solution that applies throughout this district and throughout New Zealand. The question about alternative routes, again, alternatives were explored. This is the only public land corridor and therefore deemed to be the only feasible option to connect the Tarawera community towards the main treatment plant.
But they're saying it's not public land, it belongs to them.
So this was discussed by the judge during the injunction, and happy for Stavros to add more to it. It's a road vested in the Rotorua Lakes Council for the use of the public, such as transport, but also the installation of public infrastructure.
Yeah, I think to reinforce what our Chief Executive outlined, that was the subject matter of the debate that requested a judge's decision, and the judge was satisfied in November. This is a public road vested to Rotorua Lakes Council since the early 1900s. It's been operated as a public road. It's under the ownership of the Rotorua Lakes Council, and that is no longer for debate.
But their main concern is it's coming under that stream, which is, I don't know, stream.
Well, as Andrew said, that's, in collaboration with the relevant mana whenua, who have agreed to give additional protection to that pipeline through double sleeving the pipeline under the stream, which is going to be at least 2 meters below the invert of the stream, so there's no possibility of any fugitive fluids flowing that
Can't
down.
guarantee that.
No, look, there are no guarantees with public infrastructure. There are natural disasters, there are events that are outside our control, but that applies to all public infrastructure in this country. So what we've done is we've put forward the best solution, the industry standard solution that's been tested in a range of scenarios and environments. We've also got pressure sensors at the pumps at either end, so that if there is a loss of pressure, they will automatically stop. And that's a measure we've put into place to mitigate the impact if there is an unforeseen break in the pipe. So we have taken those steps, so we've shared that. And like I say, again, Mana Whenua have engaged in this discussion. I'm really grateful for the way they've engaged and requested more information, which we've provided.
Is there a world in which this project won't go ahead?
Look, at this stage, my instructions from the council, based on the public and the wide consultation which we've already talked about, is to execute this project. That's what I'm here to do. We're very close to the end. We've got partners, and again, thanks to all the partners and the police and contractors who've supported this project. Again, and they've supported because the why of it is really strong. It's to protect the environment, protect the lakes for multiple generations. So I'm committed to executing on this project, completing it and doing it as efficiently as possible.
So that'll mean protesters will have to be forcibly removed. Are you comfortable with that?
Well, frankly, we're not seeing that at this stage. We, as I said last night, there was very cordial discussions. None of the cars had to be towed. There were no significant injuries that I'm aware of. And so if this continues, we're hoping to get the project done as quickly as possible. There were 7 arrests, but I understand that those aren't going to be taken any further. We're going to move forward with the project, and we're going to do it with minimal disruption to the residents, but also to protesters who want to peacefully protest.